Hi everybody, back with another DVD showcase ramble. First up, we've got Jack Black and Nacho Libre. I remember I saw this right before band camp in high school, and it is pretty much all we talked about. Jack Black is so creative, and I love any time that he just bursts into song. There's a scene in the bathroom after a wrestling match where he just does his little Rudy-do-do-do thing that he does, and it is so funny. And his little partner in crime, his accomplice, Escondido, is probably my favorite part of the whole movie. It is dumb. It is like, fourth grade boy humor, but it's got heart, and it's really funny. And when he's in his pale blue leisure suit, he looks a lot like my dad in pictures from the 70s and 80s, so I just enjoy that part a lot. I think if my dad were played by a person, by an actor in film, it would be Jack Black. Another kind of goofball kid humor, but like really dry kid humor, is Napoleon Dynamite. It's one of the first movies I saw where a lot of time and energy was put into the images with the credits at the beginning. I don't know if you call it the titles or whatever, but the director arranges all these different plates of food and then like slides them in and out in like this weird way where you can tell it took forever to put it together, but then they also don't care. So, and I think that's kind of how you describe the whole movie, is everything is meticulously planned, and then it's just a dumb movie. Who cares? Let's have fun with it. The dance scene with Napoleon is a classic. I have seen it recreated at a talent show and was equally as marvelous with the song Canned Heat. Did have to look that up. Highly recommend it. One of my definite top 3 desert island movies of all time, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? A Joel and Ethan Coen movie. It is my mission in life to see all of their movies. I truly love them. This could be their masterpiece, their magnum opus, if you will. It brings back John Turturro, who was also in The Big Lebowski and other things with the Coen brothers, as well as John Goodman, who makes a huge role out of a very small little part, as he always magically does. George Clooney is very funny. I love the dialect and the speech pattern that he came up with for his character in this movie. It is very quotable, very memorable. The music is so perfect. There is the controversy, or if you are British, controversy, that, spoiler alert, George Clooney did not do his own singing in the film. I know. We can't all be triple threats. But it's so great. It's so funny, and there are writers with great voice who fit whatever time and place and type of characters they're trying to write for. And I think the Coens do that beautifully. And I think this is one of their best films ever. I don't know that I could top it. Big Lebowski's close. I keep looking, but for me, this is the best. Of course, we must have Office Space. It is a weird tailspin of a movie where silly, stupid, mundane work stuff spirals into large, stressful problems for this group of goofballs in cubicles, basically. Milton, who is featured on the cover, is one of the greatest characters ever put to film. Absolutely hilarious. I think the first time I ever saw Jennifer Aniston on film rather than just in Friends, which was kind of weird. And especially since she, you can tell she's trying to get some sort of offbeat character to break from the whole Rachel thing. But also highly quotable. Very funny. So every once in a while, I see a commercial or a YouTube ad. These are probably a YouTube ad for a movie, and I have to see it, and I don't care if I have to drive an hour away to go see it or what I have to do. But for some reason, I knew I was going to love this movie. I don't know why. It's about two friends in New Jersey looking across the water at New York City and dreaming of better times. Patti, the gal on the cover, she has a mom who is a washed-up wannabe singer who just hangs out at bars and gets drunk all the time and is kind of a just screwed up, terrible mom. So Patti has the musical desire in her as well, but she wants to be a rapper. So you can imagine how well received that is. And her grandma, shame on me for not knowing her name. I should know her name, but her grandma is played by the gal. She did a lot of great things, but I'm going to show my ignorance here. To me, she was always Kerrigan in Casper. She had that raspy voice. I know. I should know more about her, but that's what I think of her as, and she's hilarious as the grandma. And it's kind of trippy and kind of weird, and has like a weird Wizard of Oz reference out of nowhere that you wouldn't expect, but yeah, it's just it's funny, and it encourages you to just go for what you know you can do, no matter what you look like or what other people think about you. So just kind of a different little one to throw in your collection. There are many people who prefer the Colin Firth Pride and Prejudice, and 99 times out of 100, I would agree with you. Colin Firth is amazing. This is the one and only time that I would probably disagree with that, because Matthew Macfadyen is a hunky dreamboat and cannot be topped, in my opinion, as the one and only Mr. Darcy. Keira Knightley, again, doing a great job, doing what she does best, brooding, don't need no man to hold me down, oh wait, but he's gorgeous, maybe it'll work out, kind of thing that she does. The music is lovely. Sometimes I'll just put this soundtrack on in the background when I'm working on, just a quiet project I need to focus on. Really nice. What's her name? The gal in Gone Girl. This is the first time I ever saw her. Lots of little character actors in here. The guy that plays her cousin, he was in About Time and just in Bird Box. He's a funny little dude. He's got some pretty good stuff in here. Some little funny shots and little funny things that he says. And yeah, when I read the book, I didn't catch the humor at first. After I saw this, I kind of understood it a little bit better and read the book differently. So I think that it adds something to a topic and a story that's been interpreted a lot. And good old Dame Judi Dench, back this time as a very rich, snobby person, which I think a little more in her wheelhouse, I should say. So this movie is what I thought you would grow up to dress like or be like in the world. I thought everyone was Olivia de Havilland and would wear a flowing gown with a crazy headpiece, and that maybe just because of where I lived, people weren't taking advantage of it. But I thought when I grew up, I would enter a room in a flowing silver gown and, it'd just be a Tuesday. Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland, the latter of Gone with the Wind fame. Really goofy little version of Robin Hood here. You'll notice when you watch it, there's a lot of little parts where they kind of speed up the film a little bit. Like, he runs up some steps, but they film it in a way where it looks like he is almost like a cartoon character going up the steps. But I can't say that it's any wonderful thing, life-changing film, but just something I grew up with that I liked, and I think the costumes are absolutely amazing. And Errol Flynn in this movie just looks like how men's cologne should smell, if that makes sense. Like, I was just sweaty in the forest, but it smells good. So, didn't know when you clicked on this video you're getting that little tidbit of magic there, but you did. Rogue One. So I was not going to go see this movie because I was very loyal to the original Star Wars trilogy and prequels, and wasn't sure that, first of all, it wasn't my own personal canon of what was true was being tested by these other side movies and things and TV shows, and at first I wasn't having it. But I was very wrong, and this is absolutely excellent and fits right in beautifully. The tone and the characters are very in line with The Empire Strikes Back, I think, and explains a lot about plans for the Death Star and how and where materials for lightsabers come from, and I think it dives into what I wish the final 3 Star Wars movies would push even more, which is, are there really good and bad people? Is there a good side and a bad side? Is there just a group of people who are good but end up doing bad things? So I think it's really interesting that way. Kind of dark, but really good. And I am just at a loss for names today. That little handsome devil, who is also in Bloodline, his name will come to me as soon as I finish. He's excellent. It's gonna drive me crazy. Oh well. But yeah, and I think that the cast is actually inclusive and representative of, I don't know, real people, which is nice to see. If you're a good actor, it shouldn't matter what you look like. You should get the part, and it shouldn't look like a little cookie cutter, pale cast of people running around. So I applaud them for that, and I think all movies could do better with that. Speaking of a bunch of pale people, the Royal Tenenbaums, a excellent Wes Anderson movie, possibly the best in my opinion. I think the height of his, the word I'm looking for? Like, almost making characters that look like caricatures, but then diving into their really strange, quirky, insipid, crazy, little nuances that they all have. I'm trying to think of a word. So yeah, I spoiler alert. Royal is actually the name of the paterfamilias of the Tenenbaums, played by Gene Hackman, and he is down on his luck and returns to get some sympathy from his family by pretending he is sick. And his ex-wife, played by Angelica Houston, has moved on, and so not only is his plot to get back in with his family, but it's to get rid of the new guy. And so he has 3 children, played by Luke Wilson, Ben Stiller, and Gwyneth Paltrow. And Owen Wilson plays the kooky neighbor that grew up with all the kids. And of course, Bill Murray's in there, as he always is in a Wes Anderson movie. And you know, there's what you can expect, the usual. Is there a box on this? The usual production value put into the sketches and the one-of-a-kind prints on the wallpaper and fabrics and things like that that he's so well known for. Yeah, for me, of all his films, this one has the best story that reaches completion. The Darjeeling Limited might be a close second on that one. Yeah, really good. Going to a classic, Rudy. This is a film that my sister would have on her list of favorite movies to watch forever. So I have sat through it many a time, and it has grown on me. At first I thought, oh, a sports movie, not up my alley. But it's so much more than that. It's a real family movie, and I went to a community college before I went to a 4-year university, and so to watch this character deal with similar attitudes about how and where you start your education, and does it really matter as long as you all get to the same place. That's a theme that hits home for me a lot. And the soundtrack is absolutely spectacular, very classic Americana sounding instrumental scores. Yeah, and Sean Astin, this was, so I first saw him in The Goonies, and then in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then backed up to him on this, and you can just see why he's cast and why he should be cast even more. He's very, very talented. Very talented. And I think, not having lived through the time period that this takes place in, I think they do a good job of the costume and the set and all of the design, because it reminds me a lot of what my family looked like in photos from that time period. So it's really nice, and not really spoiler alert here, but you know, if you need a feel-good ending, like jump around the house, like Rocky doing a workout on the steps kind of feeling, that's what you need to watch. And then lastly for today, the exact opposite of that. Cry your eyeballs out while you are screaming the lyrics at the top of your lungs, even though you're not that good of a singer, and, you know, real ugly cry movie. Yeah. And I know that shouldn't sound like a real recommendation, but there are people out there who know what I'm talking about. It is so beautiful, and it is so thoughtful and touching of a musical turned into a movie. You just can't help but love it and come back to it, even though you know it's gonna stab you right in the heart every single time. And this one, I really recommend, has the special features that look into the writing of the musical with creator, I think it's Jonathan Larson, and I won't give anything away, but probably one of the craziest real life turn of events that has ever happened to anyone ever, going into the making of that show. And then just a look into following the different runs of the show and how and why they turned it into a movie and how well that was received at first, and who's an original cast member and who's new and how they made that transition. So it's really, I mean, once you've watched the movie, you're not finished. There's a lot more to see, so I really recommend that. So thanks for listening to what was truly a lost for words ramble today. Hopefully you're doing better than I am wherever you are, and you're a little more focused and put together. But as always, thanks for sharing your time with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.